Alright YouTube, so I wish I'd done my hair for this, but we are still only 5 days postpartum from delivering the Surro twins, so this is how it is right now with hair pulled back, wearing a dress just because it's comfy, and not doing a whole lot besides rest and recovery. But in this video, I'm going to kind of go over like the birth story of delivering the Surro twins. So today is Wednesday, what is the date? July 27th. The Surro twins, the surrogate twins, were delivered on Friday, this past Friday, the 22nd. So kind of just want to go over my point of view from the surrogate side of delivering the twins and kind of what happened and all the details I can give you from my end of the delivery, the birth of the two babies. So we basically were going in Friday morning to do another membrane sweep. So we had one done Wednesday a week ago, today, and then we were going back Friday morning to do another one. And when we got into the office, I was basically dilated at a 6 with bulging water sac just right there. My blood pressure was elevated a little bit more than what I'm used to for my body. So the doctor just went ahead and sent us over to OB. So basically sent us over to labor and delivery in the hospital to go ahead and kind of start the process and maybe break the water and get the babies here on Friday, basically was the goal. So we didn't know that that would be what leading up to that appointment. The appointment was like at 8:15. We didn't realize that we would be basically gone all day, but I had to have my husband come home to watch the kids and stuff and all that kind of set up. So it was kind of not planned at all. So we went over to labor and delivery. They basically checked me in, basically admitted me to the hospital, got all of the, you know, blood work, paperwork, all that stuff started. And then with twins, so we're, you know, kind of prepping for kind of a long day. That's what my feeling is. We're just prepping for a long day of laboring in the hospital. I was dilated at a 6. We're hopefully going to have somebody break the water, kind of move it along faster. Contractions were still just like 7 or 8 minutes apart, nothing too intense or anything. But I was dilated at a 6. And so our prep was just, we're preparing for a long day. Preparing for a very long day of laboring. And so that's what we were kind of waiting for. And so we're just getting all checked in, everything kind of, you know, in the hospital bed. And then with twins, they do an ultrasound to check the positioning of the twins. And 2 weeks prior, both babies were head down. About 2 weeks, yeah, let's say 2 weeks. Both were head down. And so we had kind of stopped working on flipping them. We had stopped doing anything like that because they were head down, and being so far along, I figured the twins wouldn't be able to flip back. I thought they would be able to stay head down. And so we didn't expect, when they brought out the ultrasound, we did not expect to get the news that both babies were breached. Both babies were head up, both breached, and that's when it kind of went downhill in a sense. We weren't prepped for that at all. We thought that they would still be head down. I expected them to still be head down, and they weren't. And so at that point, me mentally, my mom mentally, we all kind of just, it was hard to get that news because it automatically went into C-section mode. And they were going to make us wait 8 hours for the C-section because I had a little bit of food that morning. But fortunately, the doctor realized that I could go into labor at any moment, and like real active labor. My water could break at any moment because of just how far along. I was already 6 centimeters dilated, and we just didn't want active labor to start. So we kind of put a rush on the C-section, and basically the C-section prep started right away. And I actually went back, I think, to the OR around like 11:30. So we had got to the probably to OB around 9:30. You know, so we were in the room for a couple hours before we actually started, before I actually went back for the C-section. And so the prep for the C-section, again, mentally I wasn't ready for it. Mentally I wasn't prepared, physically not even, because I thought both babies would be head down. So I had kind of put the C-section on the back burner and didn't mentally prepare for it very well, because I thought we were going to be doing vaginal. So that was very hard for me mentally to go through that big switch and turn of events of getting the babies here. And I just didn't have a lot of time to prepare because they put a rush on it. And it was just constant people in and out, right? You know, you've seen so many doctors talking about the anesthesia, how the process of the C-section is. I mean, it was just constant. You were never left alone to really truly take it in of what was about to happen. I didn't have time to prepare. I didn't have time to mentally prepare. I didn't have time to take it in. It was rushed. And that was just hard. Because being a surrogate's totally different than if these were my kids. Because, and I'll kind of share now going into the C-section how it, and I'll kind of explain that here. But whenever we were basically prepped and ready to go, they have you walk to the OR. And I can just remember when I walked into that OR and saw the OR, I was like, this just doesn't feel right. You see the OR, you see all the nurses, the doctors, and to me it wasn't, I was like, this is not how it's supposed to go. This is not what I had expected. And to walk into that room, I was already emotional as it is, or as it was, that it was hard to even walk into there. And then they have you sit on the table, Indian style, kind of hunched over while they do the spinal block. And I'm crying, my eyes are full of tears, and a nurse comes in, like I'm down in this position, and a nurse comes in and she's tapping, you know, she's wiping my eyes, and I'm trying to like remain calm because they're putting a spinal block in my spine, obviously, and I'm just like, I'm upset. And the doctors, you know, you're gonna get your body back, and you know, they're kind of trying to help me feel better about this process, and it just upset me even more. Because the difference for me is when you go into a C-section with your own child, you have something to look forward to. You had the joy of getting the baby handed to you, seeing your baby for the first time. I did not. I had no joy. There was no joy in a C-section for me. There was no joy besides the parents getting to hold their babies. That was the purpose of this goal anyway, but that was still very hard because all I'm seeing is myself getting cut open, and the recovery process, the uncomfortableness of a C-section in general, where they have you laying with your arms straight out while they do it. And, you know, and so things running through your head while you're laying there is not, oh, I can't wait to hold the babies. I can't wait to hold this because they weren't mine. So I didn't have that. So mentally, what was I to look forward to at that point? Nothing. I mean, nothing. There's nothing to look forward to. Yes, you get the body back, or your body, you know, yes, I'm not pregnant anymore. Yes, the parents get their babies. But at that point, laying on a table, I didn't have any joy in laying on that table. I would rather wait another week before getting the babies out to see if they would flip back. Like, that was, you know. So while I'm laying there, so they did the spinal block, and I'm laying there, and they have your arms straight out, and you're just so vulnerable, and I'm not like that feeling. You know, the curtain's up, I can't see anything. My mom eventually does come in, and she's next to me, and we FaceTime the parents. I don't, but then one of the nurses was FaceTiming the parents so they could see their kids being born, their babies being born. And I'm just laying there because I can't see anything. I didn't see the babies. I heard them when they pulled them out, heard them cry, but I didn't see a thing. Never saw the babies until later that day, because they basically pulled the babies out, and then put them in their like little bassinet and took them to their parents, which was fine. I mean, didn't need to see them anyway. But again, just laying there, as vulnerable as can be. And then once the babies were out, they asked my mom to leave, and basically I got stitched up and put back together in a sense. And then I can just remember they gave me some more, like some meds that were supposed to help me relax and whatnot, but I can remember the whole thing. And, you know, they basically, once they got me all fixed back up, had to move me over to a bed. And I can remember him being like, now you might feel like you're falling, but we got you, because they roll you over to your side and then they pull you to the bed. And then they, you know, wheel me back to my mom. And my mom said that that was a long time. It felt like, you know, from her leaving and then her seeing me again. So that was, yeah, felt like a long time. But we got back. Baby A was born at 12:02, and then baby B was born at 12:04. And if you don't know, the parents didn't know the genders. So baby A was a boy, and then baby B was a girl. It is a girl. And the parents got to find out through FaceTime, that was the best option we had with a C-section. If it was going to be a vaginal birth, they would have been able to be in the room, but with only having one person allowed in the room, it was my mom, and the best option was to FaceTime so they could see their babies being born. I mean, with technology, that seriously was the best option. And then the babies they did all their like weight check and cleanup when they got to the room with the parents. So, I mean, it was as close as we can make it to them being there as possible. I hope that they would agree with that, that was one of the better ways to do it. But, so yeah, so that's basically, I mean, there was like 14 people in the OR. Granted, it was twins, so of course each baby has their own like care staff or nurses and whatnot. But yeah, so that was, yeah, 12:02 and 12:04 they were born. And remember, we went into the doctor's office at 8:15 that morning, not knowing that we would be having babies that fast, that quickly, in that way. When we left, you know, my house that day. The C-section was not a planned one. It was not what we thought was going to happen, which a lot of C-sections are that way. But yeah, we just didn't. I was not prepared. And then if you follow my videos of postpartum, I'm not going to share much of the postpartum journey right now because I have videos, daily videos of those. But this is kind of just the birth story. But yeah, baby A, the boy, was 6 pounds, 3 ounces. 6 pounds, 3 ounces, I think 19 inches long. And then baby B, the girl, was 6 pounds, 7 ounces with 19 inches long as well, which that's really good size for twins, I feel like. At 37, we were 37 weeks and 2 days. So that was really, that was really good, great size. The babies had no issues. They had no concerns. They didn't have to have anything extra for them. They were, I mean, my daughter was 6'14", so I mean, they're not, that was 1, and these were 2, you know, so almost 13 pounds of baby I was carrying. But yeah, so it was hard, and it still is hard because dealing with a C-section recovery. Granted, yes, I don't have babies to take care of, but I have to take care of myself and my kids. You know, I still have a 4-year-old and almost 3-year-old that need me. So definitely much different recovery. Like I said, you can watch the postpartum videos to kind of learn more about that. But that was Friday. I laid in bed. I wasn't allowed to get up. I had a catheter in and of course an IV. So Friday I never moved out of the bed. Yeah, which that's kind of postpartum. But that's the birth story. Again, I was emotional the whole time. Probably cried the whole C-section because it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. And again, the side of it being a surrogate, you just don't have that joy of the C-section because there is no joy. Like I said, yes, it's a joy that the parents get to be parents. I mean, the parents are becoming parents and getting to hold their babies. That was the ultimate goal. But I didn't get to see that. I didn't get to experience that. But I also didn't have anything to look forward to when I walked into that OR, besides getting the babies out. But everybody was here safe. Everyone is safe. Everyone's healthy. That's what really truly matters. But it was just not an easy day. Still is hard, even though 5 days postpartum. Right now, it still kind of hits me in the wrong way. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I missed out on, but C-section for your own kid is different than a C-section for somebody else. Just how I feel. But also just did not expect the C-section to happen. But it is what it is. Everyone's healthy, and that's it. But that's basically the end of the surrogacy journey right there. Babies are back in Maine, where they belong, and everyone's just trying to move on from this journey now. Trying to rest and recover so I can hopefully finish the summer strong with my kids and taking it easy as best I can, trying not to do too much. And like I said, you can watch this postpartum journey as well. But if you guys have questions about the birth story, the birth, anything like that, just let me know. If I missed anything, hopefully I didn't. It's kind of hard, easy to go different ways, but yeah, so that's the birth story of the surrogate twins.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along.